Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back to our latest explainer, where today we are unpacking an absolutely epic exploration of the Amazon rainforest. We're going on a spatial journey, descending layer by layer through literally one of the most complex ecosystems on the entire planet. We're going to start way up high in the sun-drenched canopy, plunge down into the mysterious flooded rivers, and finally push deep into pitch-black subterranean caves. We have a lot of ground to cover and some truly fascinating source material guiding us, so let's get right to it.
Right off the bat, I want to hit you with this staggering number. 390 billion. That is the estimated number of individual trees standing in the Amazon right now, making up about 16,000 different species. I mean, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. These plant giants literally act as the Earth's lungs. Every single year, they're out there absorbing billions of tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and pumping out essential breathable oxygen. They're basically these massive natural air filtration machines keeping our planet viable.
But where exactly is all this happening? As you can see, this ecosystem is vast. We're talking about a staggering 2.6 million square miles. It graciously extends its green canopy over 9 different South American countries. But, and this is key, 60% of this entire area sits right inside Brazil. That is the undisputed beating heart of the forest, and it's all nourished by the colossal Amazon River system, which itself stretches over 4,350 miles.
Now, this landscape wasn't always a lush forest, and this brilliantly illustrates a dramatic tectonic history. Millions of years ago, this entire region was actually the bottom of a primordial ocean, with early rivers flowing east to west. But then, about 11 million years ago, immense tectonic forces slowly pushed up the majestic Andes mountain range out to the west. This geological upheaval effectively walled off the water. It forced an entire, massive river system to literally reverse its course and flow eastward toward the Atlantic. That singular dramatic plot twist of geology seeded the environment we know today.
That history paved the way for a total explosion of life. We're looking at over 3 million invertebrate species, 2,200 types of fish, 1,300 birds. The Amazon holds about 10% of all known species on Earth. Now, just a quick note on the source documentary we're analyzing today. It frames this incredible biodiversity and the delicate balance of this ecosystem through a deeply spiritual and creationist lens. The source attributes this vibrant harmony where every living being interacts perfectly to divine will and a creator's infinite wisdom. For our explainer today, we're going to unpack the fascinating biological data and survival strategies the source presents, while neutrally recognizing this spiritual framework as the documentary's core perspective.
Part 1. Kings of the Canopy. Let's start at the very top. Ruling over this sunlit realm is the jaguar. Now, people often confuse the Amazonian jaguar with the African leopard, but their evolutionary adaptations are totally different. The leopard is slender, about 198 pounds, built for tree ambushes and suffocating neck bites. The jaguar? It's a massive 220-pound powerhouse that has uniquely adapted to the Amazon by becoming an incredible swimmer. It hunts right in the water for fish and turtles. But its most terrifying adaptation has to be its bite. Generating 1,005 pounds per square inch of pressure, the jaguar doesn't bother suffocating its prey. It literally just bites straight through the skull to instantly paralyze the central nervous system.
Wow. Moving higher up into the trees, we run into the agile spider monkey. These guys are the acrobats of the Amazon. They use this long prehensile tail that perfectly acts as a fifth limb to swing through the canopy. What our source highlights so well here is their cognitive intelligence. They are incredibly smart problem solvers. They memorize the exact locations of food in three-dimensional space and even navigate complex social drama within their large groups of 20 to 30 individuals. And ecologically, they're absolute VIPs. Because their diet is so heavy in fruit, they act as the tireless gardeners of the forest, dispersing seeds over vast distances and regenerating plant life.
But you know, the Amazon is a place of absolute contrast. While the forest operates on this massive scale, it's also home to the tiny pygmy marmoset. Weighing just 3.5 ounces, it is the smallest primate in the world. I mean, it's small enough to fit right in the palm of your hand. To survive in a world of giants, they've developed sharp claws instead of flat nails, letting them grip vertically onto tree bark. This allows them to quickly zip around the canopy to find their highly specialized diet of tree sap, which they extract by literally gnawing into the bark with adapted incisors.
Part 2. The flooded water worlds. Let's move down a layer and plunge into the rivers.
Every single year, the rivers here swell dramatically, rising several feet and transforming the forest into a vast green ocean. But as the source explains, these floods are not destructive, they are miraculous events that completely nourish the ecosystem. This creates two very distinct flooded environments. The Varzea, which gets flooded by nutrient-rich whitewater carrying sediments all the way from the Andes, and the Igappó, which are flooded year-round by acidic, nutrient-poor black water.
And hiding in those dark waters is a creature with a bite force that makes the jaguar look tame. 3,697.5 pounds per square inch. That massive number belongs to the Black Caiman, a 19.7-foot prehistoric survivor. It perfectly camouflages into the murky water, leaving literally just its eyes and nostrils above the surface, where it'll wait patiently for hours. It is the undisputed supreme aquatic predator down here. The rivers are absolutely packed with these prehistoric aquatic survivors, each with some extreme adaptations. You've got the massive green anaconda, nearly 30 feet long, ambushing from the shallows with sheer constricting force. You have the freshwater stingray, whose ancestors got trapped inland millions of years ago when sea levels dropped, now navigating the murky water using electroreception to sense the electrical fields of its prey. Then there's the Arapaima, a nearly 10-foot living fossil with a primitive lung that actually forces it to come to the surface to breathe atmospheric air. And swimming right alongside them are massive 145-pound capybaras, these giant web-footed rodents that take to the flooded forests in large herds. Part 3. Hidden Cave Ecosystems. Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is we are heading into total darkness.
In total, perpetual darkness, survival requires some pretty radical adaptation. Take the blind cavefish. Because visual organs are totally useless in energy-intensive and complete darkness, extreme isolation led this fish to lose its eyes entirely, literally no eyes. Instead, it relies on a system of ultra-sensitive sensors along its body that detect the absolute tiniest water vibrations from organic fragments or bacteria falling into the cave. It's like a built-in superpower.
Sharing this dark habitat is the vampire bat, and their specialized feeding habits are mind-blowing. They use echolocation to navigate and thermal sensors to find blood vessels on sleeping mammals. They don't actually suck blood, though. They use razor-sharp incisors to make a tiny, painless cut. And get this, their saliva contains an anticoagulant enzyme literally called draculine that keeps the blood flowing while they lick it up. But perhaps most surprisingly, these bats display a super rare form of social altruism. They will actually return to the cave and share regurgitated blood with members of their colony who failed to feed that night.
Part 4. Guardians of the Forest. Let's zoom back out to the macro level to talk about human impact.
So here is the sobering reality we have to face. According to the WWF data cited in the source, 17% of the Amazon has been destroyed since the 1970s. We are talking about 308,000 square miles lost to human consumption and greed. To put that into perspective for you, that is an area larger than the entire country of France, just simply wiped out.
To address this escalating crisis, the source documentary shifts heavily into a spiritual and moral framework, relying on biblical quotes like this one. God gave man dominion over the earth, but not to destroy it, but to care for and protect it. By framing the Amazon as a priceless, sacred gift from a creator, the narrator makes a very passionate moral plea to humanity. The documentary argues that saving the Amazon isn't just an environmental issue, it's a spiritual responsibility to safeguard life itself. We are simply passing along this unique perspective that really drives the source's call to action here.
But there is good news. There are inspiring solutions currently working to honor that responsibility. The ARPA project, launched back in 2002, successfully protects over 148 million acres, actively driving deforestation down by promoting sustainable management. Equally crucial are the indigenous tribes like the Igappó people. They are the ancestral guardians of the forest, and they are actively managing and protecting over 27 million acres of their own land, allowing wildlife to safely return. The source really emphasizes that whether you live right there in the forest or thousands of miles away, adopting a sustainable lifestyle is a shared global duty. Which brings us to the ultimate question this explainer leaves us with. Will we step up and act as guardians of this incredibly complex, deeply layered ecosystem, or are we merely going to be witnesses to its ongoing destruction? From the canopy-dwelling jaguars to the blind fish in the pitch-black caves, the survival of this biological marvel now rests entirely on our collective choices. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me today. I really encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and think about the footprint you leave behind.